This is how to get the sum of some options. In this case, the user wanted to return the sum of everything from column D, that commission column, that isn't labeled savings in column B. Specifically, they said, I want to create a total for the commission rows, but I want to exclude the rows if its dropdown is labeled as savings. The problem comes in as there are multiple forms of payment, Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. It will not allow me to add those to the sum even if I do SUMIF. I just want to exclude savings, but it still add up when the dropdown for the row is the other payment options. Now, they did say that they wanted to know how to ask better questions in the future and said they don't use AI, just Google search and like crappy YouTube tutorials. So I figured, let's make a good YouTube tutorial. Now, this user was very kind and provided their entire spreadsheet. So here's my copy of their expense tracker. And we can see here's the column D commissions that they were talking about. And they're saying they want to count all the commissions where payment is anything except savings. We have Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and savings. So here in D7, they want the commission to be labeled to return 200. Not 230. I believe originally they just had a sum of D13 through D, which obviously returns 230. You could also do this using table notation. So if I do this, I believe, yeah, just like that. So you can use table notation. I oftentimes find it easier to just use the rows and columns, the A1 notation when we're working through this, because that always works. All right, so sum D13 through D counts everything, obviously. They tried doing a sum if, but a standard sum if only takes a single criterion. So they were trying to do something like counting D where B equals Venmo and then adding that to D where B equals Cash App. It gets long, it gets complicated, and it gets unnecessary, frankly. Here is the simplest way in this case where there's only one thing that they want to exclude. Okay? First, note that the way SUMIF is written, if you are going to have a sum range that is separate from the criteria range, you need to declare the criteria range and the criterion first. So I'm not going to do D13 as the first. It's actually going to be B13 through B, because this is the range upon which my criterion is supposed to act or supposed to filter. The criterion here is going to be, open a quotation mark for a string. In these formulas, open bracket, close bracket, angle brackets is the not equal to symbol, right? Equal to, not equal to, savings, and then my sum range is going to be D13 through D. This, you can see, works. There are several other ways that you can do this. You can use a query function and return the sum of D where B is not equal to savings. You could use a filter function and filter all of D where B is not equal to savings and then sum all that. The only other way, though, that I would really suggest moving forward on this would be to use a SUMIF function in an array formula if there are multiple things you want to include and multiple things you want to exclude. So let's suppose that there was Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, savings, and also credit card or checking, something like that, right? In that case, rather than doing this simple exclusion, I'm going to do an inclusive sum for all the options. So if I do SUMIF, my range again is going to be B13 through B, but my criterion is going to open a brace, and it's going to be Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and then again my sum range D13 through D. Now, this by itself will not work great, because if I come here and add PayPal, 50. This is now 250. This should be 250. It is not. Why? Well, if I change this to Venmo, it actually will be. Basically, SUMIF is not array enabled by itself. We need to do something to have it operate on an array. And here I've created an array. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this in array formula, which allows it to act on arrays. Now it's returning, what we have here is the SUMIF for Venmo, the SUMIF for PayPal, and the SUMIF for Cash App. We can check this easily by changing this from PayPal to Cash App. So now that I have each of these, I'm going to put a final sum on the outside to add that all together. So that is another way that this works. But again, I would only use that method if there are multiple things that you want to include and multiple things that you want to exclude. If all you want to do is exclude a certain thing, just use this. It will add up everything that is not that particular thing. If all you want to do is include a particular type of thing, I could say Cash App. I don't even need the equal sign there. I just say Cash App as the criterion and it works. But if you want to include multiple things and exclude multiple things, I would use this method. But as much as you can, stick with the single function like this, the not equals savings or the equals what you want to add together. I do hope that this was helpful. I do hope that this is not a crappy YouTube tutorial and can be useful to you in the future. Thanks so much for watching.